The content, views, and opinions expressed are the sole responsibility of the producer and do not reflect those of Malden Access Television, the City of Malden, or Comcast. MATV welcomes your comments. Call us at 781-321-6400.
Good evening and welcome to this intellectual and cultural discussion from which we hope everyone will benefit. I am pleased to be here today hosting this event. I'm also delighted to see this gathering of brothers and sisters, members of our community, and our friends from all over the state of Massachusetts. It is encouraging and gratifying to see all of you here today. Thank you very much for responding to our invitation. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to thank some of the parties that provide their help every time we need them. The Immigrant Learning Center, who provided us with the lovely and comfortable room we're in today and have aided us with the association since its inception, especially Louise Fossett, Fatima Shiban, and the director of the center, Ms. Diane Portnoy. Thank you so much for your help and support. I also want to thank all the women that help the organization, both financially and with their support and assistance. I want to thank everyone who came here today. I know you have family and work obligation, especially it looks nice outside, but thank you for your support. And I want to also thank the members of the organization, headed by President Suad Akib, for all the work they do despite the challenges and obstacles they face as far as money and logistics. Despite this, they are doing a good job and defeating all these challenges thanks to the members. Thank you to MATV for filming this event. Thank you for your time. This means a lot to all of us. A special thanks to Brother Imam Abdul Hamid for responding to our invitation. We really appreciate your time, Imam Abdul Hamid. Thanks to Malden YWCA for their support. A special thanks to the City of Malden and Mayor Gary Christensen, who is here today with us, for all the help and support. This means a lot to us. Thank you so much, Mayor. Finally, I want to thank Dr. Hooley for all the presentation and workshops that she does through the association AAAW. Speaking of Dr. Hooley, she's here today to speak about Islamophobia. But before that, let me tell you a little bit about her and the field where she practices her job. Dr. Nahid Hooley is originally from Egypt. She's a doctor and specialist in medicine and psychoanalysis. She received her higher degrees, certificates, and competencies in this field from the universities of Cairo in Egypt. She practiced a profession in psychiatry for over 30 years, from Egypt to United States of America, where she is currently engaged as a physician and also supervising and teaching doctors for more than 4 years. She helped many Muslims and non-Muslims families in different states. Dr. Holy currently practices her job in her office here in the state of Massachusetts in the Charlestown area. The hate that Islam gets from some of the Western world can be translated into the media through movies or caricature of the Prophet Muhammad, peace upon him. Islam is portrayed as anti-woman and anti-progression. People who look at Islam this way don't know the reality of it. That is a religion of the peaceful coexistence and tolerance. This hatred toward Islam is only going to lead to more terrorism and violence. And we as intellectual and religious leaders, as leaders of a civil society, as Muslim men and women, have to take responsibility for giving the Western world and the others a better understanding of Islam. This is our responsibility. This is why Dr. Holy will address Islamophobia today. She will define it and discuss its consequences and potential solutions. But before that, I would like to introduce Brother and Imam Abdul Hamid, who under his leadership was able to bring together Muslim community and urge them to collaborate and represent the best representation of Muslim. Brother and Imam Abdul Hamid is here with us today. To say a few words to the audience. Please join me to welcome Imam Abdul Hamid.
Peace be with you. So I am delighted and honored today to be here with you and participate in this educational program about Islam. So since Islamophobia is related to Islam, I would like to give a brief introduction on the meaning of Islam. So what is Islam? Islam is not a new religion, but the same truth and that God revealed through all his prophets to every human being. For the fifth word of the word population, the Muslim or Islam constitutes for the Muslim both Islam is religion and also a complete way of life. So the religion of Islam or Islam is about religion of peace, mercy, and forgiveness. And the majority of the Muslims have nothing to do with the extremely grave events which have come to be associated with their faith. So what are the Muslims? 1.5 billion today, from a vast range of races, nationalities, and culture across the globe. So these Muslims are united by their common Islamic faith. About 18% live in the Arab world. The world's largest Muslim community today is in Indonesia. Substantial part of Asia and most of Africa are Muslim, while significant minorities are to be found in the ex-Soviet Union, China, North and South of America, and Europe. So what do Muslims believe? Muslims believe in one unique Almighty God, in the angels created by Him, in the prophets through whom his revelation were brought to mankind. In the day of judgment, in the destiny, the good of it, the bad of it, are all from God. Also, the Muslims believe in a chain of prophets, starting with Adam and including Noah, Abraham, Ishmael, Isaac, Jacob, Moses, Aaron, David, Solomon, John the Baptist, and Jesus, peace be up on them all. But God's final message to man, a reconfirmation of the eternal message that has gone before, was revealed to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, through Angel Gabriel. So what does Islam mean? The Arabic word Islam simply means submission and derives from a word meaning peace. In a religious context, it means complete submission to the will of God. So do Islam and Christianity have different origin? No. Together with Judaism, they go back to Prophet Abraham. And their three prophets are directly descended from his son. Like Muhammad from the eldest, Ishmael, and Moses and Jesus from Isaac. Abraham established the settlement, which today is the city of Mecca, and built the Kaaba, towards which all Muslims turn when they pray. So who is Muhammad? Muhammad, peace be upon him, was born in Mecca in the year 570. And he became known for his truthfulness, generosity, and sincerity, so that he was sought after for his ability to arbitrate in disputes. The historians describe him as calm and mediative. So why did he become a prophet and a messenger of God? At the age of 40, while engaged in meditative retreat, Muhammad received his first revelation from God through the angel Gabriel. This revelation, which continued for 23 years, is known as the Quran today. So as soon as he began to recite the words he heard from angel Gabriel and to preach the truth which God had revealed to him, he and his small group of followers suffered bitter persecution, which grew fierce. That in the year 622, God gave them the command to immigrate. This event, called in Arabic hijrah or migration, in which they left Mecca for the city of the Medina to the north. So this marks the beginning of the Muslim calendar. So what is the Quran? The Quran is a record of the exact words revealed by God through the angel Gabriel to Prophet Muhammad. It was memorized first by Muhammad and then dictated to his companion and written down by scribes who cross-checked during his lifetime. Not one word of its 114 chapters have been changed over the centuries. So that's what makes the Quran a unique, miraculous text which was revealed to Prophet Muhammad 14 centuries ago. So what is the Quran about? The Quran, the last revealed word of God, is the prime source of every Muslim faith and practice. It deals with all the subjects which concern concern us as human beings, like wisdom, doctrine, worship, and law. But its basic theme is the relationship between God and His creatures. At the same time, it provides guidelines for a just society, proper human conduct, and an equitable economic system. Are there any other sacred sources for Muslims? Yes, the Sunnah, or the practice and the example of the Prophet Muhammad. This is the second authority for Muslims. A hadith, or the tradition of the Prophet Muhammad, is a reliable, transmitted report of the Prophet, what he said and did or approved. Believing the Sunnah is part of the Islamic faith. So let us hear some examples of the Prophet Muhammad saying. The Prophet said, God has no mercy on one who has no mercy for others. Another saying, none of you truly believes until he wishes for his brother what he wishes for himself. Also the Prophet said, he who eats his food while his neighbor goes without food is not a believer. So this is just a brief summary about Muslim faith, and we didn't cover a lot, but this will help us to have this introduction, about an idea about Islamic faith. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Brother Abdulhamid, for this wonderful word about the definition of Islam. And now, join me to welcome Dr. Nahid Khouli for her presentation.
Good afternoon to everybody, or maybe Assalamu alaikum, which is our greeting, means peace be upon all of you. I'm really grateful to this organization headed by Mr. and Mrs. Saad Akib, who are really trying to build a connection between our community and the American community, and it does help it to all of us to know each other. I chose this subject today, Islamophobia, because it became a really very strong phenomena that has or made people confused and fearful of many Muslims around the country or around the world. My main point that I want to discuss here today, I want to say what is Islamophobia. When people start to hear about this phenomenon, what are the signs and the manifestations of Islamophobia? What can we do about it? How can we deal with it when it appears in any city? I mean, it can appear in any city in the United States. Islamophobia, the word itself means, the translation is fear from Islam, the religion Islam, or / the Muslims whose religion is Islam. Over the years, since, if we go back to in the history, the Muslim immigrants started to come to the U.S. In the 50s, after the World War II. And in the 60s and the 70s, the number of Muslims immigrating to the U.S. started to increase. And by the year, started to increase. Until today, we can count 8 million Muslims in the U.S. So we are not just a small community. Many Americans know Muslims either as a colleagues or as a neighbor or associate or partner in this country. The United States of America has been known as a melting pot. It has every race on earth, It has people from all religions or who have no religion. It's really a small representation of the map of the world. You know, from everywhere, east, west, south, north. Many people came with the main hope and goal is to establish a better life, more freedom of speech, enjoy the opportunities that they didn't have in their own land, and wanting to raise families to succeed and go ahead with these goals to be continued. The status of the U.S. in the world became the most powerful power in the world because of the immigrants and because of all the populations and all the people that immigrated here from east and west, south and north. They did accomplish the technology, the highest technology, the highest education, the best economic, but not recently, but usually it was the best economic in the world. When we think about when Islamophobia, this term started, it didn't start in the 50s when Muslims started to be here. It didn't start in the 60s when more Muslims came here. 70s, again, we didn't hear about this. You started to have Americans, maybe your parents, your grandparents, used to have a Muslim in the neighborhood, at least, or in the school, or in college. But this term was not used. There were no fear of Muslims or from the religion Islam. When did this started? We'll go ahead with the 80s, it was not there, the 90s was not there, until 2001, in 9/11, when this heinous, outrageous act of 15 young men who claimed they are Muslims, did all this disruption to the World Towers, to killed more than 3,000 people. Maybe you don't know also that about 300 Muslims died in this attack. They were working in the towers. After 9/11, the Muslim communities and the Islamic centers all over the U.S. started to invite non-Muslims in churches and synagogues to come and visit mosques. They want to prove, because it was like once after 9/11 took place, the media started right away to call about any criminal act to be from Muslims. For example, in the year 2004, it was very close after 9/11, there was a problem revealed that someone distributed anthrax powder in envelopes at different post offices, and it was a very big fear. And right away they said, well, we want to know who was the Muslim who did that. Finally, they found out it was not a Muslim. He was a chemist. He is Christian. He has some personality disorder that he wanted to do such an action, which is a criminal act. But what I want to say that when we hear, since I came to the US, we hear on the news somebody killed somebody, a wife, the brothers, the Medinza's brothers, they killed their parents. The McCabe in Oklahoma bombed the government building and killed many, many people. We heard the name of the criminal, but we didn't hear his religion. And the person who put the anthrax powder and distributed in many states, we didn't know his religion. From my knowledge, the person who killed President J.F. Kennedy, I didn't know, but I got to know that he was a Jewish man. But we didn't, it's not written in the history that the person who killed President Kennedy was Jewish. Neither the guy from Oklahoma or the guy from the chemist who sent this. Menachem Begin, who was the prime minister of Israel, and he was working towards the peace treaty to have resolution of the Middle Eastern crisis that has lived for over 50, 60 years. He was killed by a young man who was Jewish. You can be surprised because the enemies, according how it reveals, the enemies of the Israelis there are Arabs. But he was not killed by an Arab. He was killed by a Jewish person. And of course he was taken to court for they didn't mention they didn't accuse the religion of Judaism that it is the cause of the killing or the criminal act. And what we are seeing these days that when some, very powerful, terrible criminal act is committed, the first suspect are usually a Muslim or some Muslims, and it was proved in many cases that after the assumption was that the criminal was a Muslim, they found other religion, that he has another religion. What are the manifestations of this phenomena since 9/11? There have been multiple series of hate crimes, people who are, because of the media propaganda and the focus on Islam as a violent religion, as anti-Americans or anti-Western, and they started to go after different mosques in the state, to vandalize them, break their doors and windows. At one time, I get this news from an organization called the CARE, Council on American Islamic Association, relation, and they are the ones almost documenting every criminal act that occurs against Muslims, because they try to defend them. They try to have lawyers to defend the person that they cause or who was a suspect of the criminal act. There were at many cities, like in Minnesota, in Texas, in New York, people found in some masjid, in front of some masjid, the intestine, the gut, or the intestine, large and small intestine of a pig or pigs in front of the masjid or the mosque, just because they know that Muslims don't eat pork. So the hatred in their heart, because of what they have been learning about Islam, which is not really true, affected them. They are angry. They feel that these Muslims are the criminals of the world today. Unfortunately, there is one fact that started to make everybody in the world scared and fearful, which is this organization that we found about it, and it's called Al-Qaeda. They are a group of people. I can say, because I'm a psychiatrist, I will say they are sociopath, they are antisocial personality, and they have serious psychological problems to lead them to do such huge, outrageous criminal activity. And this is now not only making only Americans to be fearful. Actually, all over the world have been fearful. the Muslims in America are fearful. We are here, we have been, most of us have the citizenship, have accomplished their family life, their career, they are living peacefully with other neighbors from different religions, and they had no problems whatsoever before 9/11. What I want to say about the media is, I wish that they did not associate the criminal act with the religion of Islam. Because in my opinion, and according to my Islamic beliefs and knowledge, whoever killed one soul, he killed the whole world, or all people. This is in the Quran. And so killing this many, they are not Muslims, they are criminals. But the stigma started from there, that they started to say, they associate the criminals of any now huge problem in the world, that they are Muslims. We are American citizens. We have lived among the American people and from different religions for many, many years. Never happened that somebody really was so such a criminal person like other criminals that we have heard of. There was a mother who killed her 5 children. There was the 2 brothers who killed their parents. There was people setting fires in different states or cities. But we never hear what is the religion. And that's the big point I want you to know at this time. The origin, why Islamophobia started. It's just connecting criminals with the religion, which is not fair. The destruction of mosques and the vandalism, the throwing trash or breaking windows, it has happened in many cities, in many states, and we need to do something about it. We means the Muslims, the American Muslims, and the American of other religions, because we are all in the same shoes. We are all in the same status. When harm comes to America, we are all inflicted. We are all harmed. When the market dropped at the end of September of 2008, it affected everybody, not just regular Americans. It affected the Muslim Americans. Everybody's investment or retirement savings dropped a very big drop, and actually many people lost whatever profits that they had so far. So in our interest is the safety of the American society. We are considered helpers in keeping the society not fearful, peaceful, and get along and love one another and respect each other's beliefs. This is what is actually also in the Quran. God told us that you have to, don't discriminate between one another according to the color, according to the religion, or according to the faith, or other, no differentiation. You have to be equally good Muslim towards all people. And actually in the Quran they say, and God said He could have created all nations the same religion and the same color, but He said in the Quran He wanted to see how people will react with each other and how they will get to know each other, or how they will be able to live together. For some reason, all Muslims have this in their heart. They know that if they discriminate against somebody, it will be a sin against the religion, that God will punish him either in life or in death. So Muslims are the most tolerable people of the different nations and the different religions and the different colors. Unfortunately, it is actually the opposite of what people know now about Muslims. It's the opposite. We are required by God to follow his revelation when he told us in the Quran, do not discriminate between anybody who is of different race, color, religion. We have to respect all. Will take us to the other, I said about the manifestation and the hate crimes. It has been increasing. Thank goodness, maybe in our state here, maybe there are more educated, highly educated people that are still living in peace with their colleagues and neighbors and partners who are Muslims. I did not hear more hate crimes in this state. I have been living here for about 3 years. But the reports that come to me from other states, it's really very discouraging and fearful. Now I want to say, what can we do about it? Like, first of all, we have to acknowledge that this is not true. The phenomena of Islamophobia is not a true phenomena. It's irrational. It's irrational fear from Islam. It's not rational because the history shows that it was not the character of Muslims to kill and to bomb people and buildings. It was not known since Islam started 1400 years ago that Islam is a violent religion. It was not. It was known that the name Islam means peace. When we greet each other, we say, may peace be upon you. When we mention any name of all the prophets of God, starting with Prophet Adam and Prophet Abraham and until the Prophet Muhammad, we always say, peace be upon them. We know, especially in the Quran, we have the miraculous birth of Prophet Jesus and his status in God and with God, and he was one of the most known, messengers and prophets, including Moses and Muhammad. But we believe in all the prophets in between that Imam Shuaib mentioned, most of them. So now, what can we do? First, we have to know each other. We have to start to open our doors to each other, to learn about each other. Like if you have a neighbor who is covered and you can see they are Muslims, get to know them, knock on the door, how are you, welcome to the community. What we have been doing as Muslims so far since 9/11, all the mosques, and I'm aware of this act, this news, all mosques have open house that is any non-Muslims are welcome to attend the functions inside the mosque. They can participate in the Friday mass prayer, which is usually in every masjid, in every mosque in the US. I go a lot of times to the ISBCC, which is the Islamic Boston Society Cultural Center in Roxbury, and every Friday prayer I see non-Muslims observing and sitting with the Muslims and hearing the speech and seeing how Muslims are praying. I encourage everybody to try to do that. It is our duty in order to decrease the fear if we know each other more closely. Not by going away from each other. You have to we have to know each other more so we can trust each other. the worst thing that happened after 9/11, the fear of Muslims and the no trust whatsoever in any Muslims, and this is not fair to the religion of Islam. And I am against all criminal, we are, not only me, all Muslims in America, and also even, I'm not gonna bring the Muslims overseas, but all the Muslims in America are against any criminal act and any violence, and they don't consider the criminals as Muslims. They will be disowned from this religion. So the mosques started to invite people to go to the mosque, talk to the ladies, talk to the men, get to know what is Islam, what do the Muslims do, what that means, why they wear a scarf, and it's strangely enough, before 9/11, people were interested to ask me why I'm covering my head, and they were always complimenting Americans like difference and the exotics, and when they see in the middle of the street, everybody is like wearing short shorts and topless and whatever. They are excited to know why are you covered, and it was a very good thing to go through, because I can tell them about my culture or say about my culture, and they were always interested to hear that. They were not against us. Before 9/11, they were pleased to know what are we, why are we covered, why the man has a beard, why you wear certain clothes. So I wish that it come a time that this trust come back among us. I really encourage every person here and to tell every person they know to really visit the mosques. It's everywhere. It's in every town. There is one in Malden, there is one in Everett, there is one in Roxbury, there is one in Cambridge. And it is not, the doors are open at any time. The best time you can really watch what's going on is the Friday prayer between 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. The other things which has happened since a year ago, the ISBCC collected a lot of donations to put signs in buses and in the trains, large signs, like maybe this large signs, with one saying, one ayah, one phrase of the Quran and its meaning, and then it says Islam 1-to-1 call, and they have the phone number and the address for open house to come at any time. It's called Islam 1-to-1. It is in ISB every Thursday, 7 p.m. It is at the ISBCC in Roxbury, 7 p.m. And there is another lecture. It's all to non-Muslims or the new Muslims that convert to learn about Islam. It's all teaching. And for women who don't want to go at the general one, they need only a woman to present the lecture. It is every Monday morning at the ISB in Cambridge. So I see from our side, we have really outreach. We are trying to outreach our communities. We are trying to let the people know that we are actually peaceful. We are not violent. We are against violence. And thank goodness I am aware that every week about 12 to 14 non-Muslims go to these classes after we put the signs in the subways, in the trains, which is great because it shows that people want to know. And that's all what your duty is. instead of getting scared, talk to the people and know what they are about, what they live for, what are their goals of life, you know what I mean? Get to know them instead of be scared of them. And especially of the women who are wearing a scarf. They think they are backward, they just ride camels, and they are uneducated, but it's not the truth. Wearing the scarf is not obligatory in Islam. It is chosen by the woman in her relationship with God. It's her choice. No husband can force his wife, no father can force his daughter, and even if he forces his daughter, this is against God's rules. This is against the Islamic rules. And the society started to see more and more of women wearing the scarf. And then they get more fearful. And I really think that everyone in this country should rethink about this Islamophobia, the irrational fear of Islam and Muslims, and try to learn about these people instead of be scared and get away from people. This is my main mission of this lecture, and my main goal is just to let you know that it was unfair to connect the criminal act with Muslims, because no other criminal act was connected to the person by his religion. And the other fact that Islamophobia and the fear of Muslims is irrational, and it's not true. And I think I will open the discussion if somebody wants to ask any questions. And thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nahid Kholi, for this presentation. And now I will give a chance to the audience if anybody have any comment or any question. As I said in the beginning, we want it to be as a discussion, so everyone will benefit from it. So please feel free to talk, to ask, or to say any comment.
Okay.
Hi, I'm from the Modern Africa. I'm the reporter. Thank you for sharing. First, I want to know this irrational behavior, this fear. Has it has any impact in the Muslim society? And if so, what are the impacts you guys encounter every day? And I want.
Yes, the impact was really great because of this propaganda about Islamophobia in the media. Translated to hate crimes, which led into individuals going against Muslims by violence, by vandalizing mosques, by attacking Muslim women with a scarf, and or profiling them at the airport, and suspect the first impression that if the woman shows that she is a Muslim, there is the first thought that it is suspicious and it may be one of the Al-Qaeda, which is really irrational. We are against Al-Qaeda. We are against violence. Al-Qaeda hurt us like it hurt you. We are in the same boat. Is that is this like so? It is hurting Muslims. Yes, this spreading Islamophobia. It's making the more Americans are fearful, and more gets more aggressive, and they hurt non-Muslim American Muslims by different ways, either personally or in their worshipping center, the mosque, or to neighbors, by verbally or physically. It did occur that people started to believe in this, that all Muslims are criminals, and they reacted to Muslims at this level.
So I think the question I want to ask is, do you guys see that in a daily life there's a change of attitude after September 11, or because it's Korea,
I noticed it after 9/11. Yes, I noticed that they look to me on me like how they related to me. Regular Americans that I worked with, and they know me by heart. They just start to be scared, without. That's why I'm saying it's irrational. I mean, if you know a person for 5 years, why you start to have a different look at them? Because a stupid person, a criminal, an antisocial person did a very horrible criminal act.
Thank you for your presentation. I am not a Muslim, but I like the Quran. I always like to read the Quran, and I love the verses. And some verses are similar to the Bible. And I think it's a lack of education. Some people judge Muslim because I have a lot of Muslim friends. They are very nice people, and I really like the way they are. And I'm not a Muslim, but I have no problem. I like to go to the mosque. I went to the mosque many times to pray. And
just to comment on one sentence you said. You said that you like to read the Quran, and some of the phrases is like the Bible.
yes,
It's because it's coming from the same source, from the same God.
yes, and I think it's the same God. And, Allah, to me, Allah is my God too. It's just another name for God. But
So
some
the
people-
creator of the universe, we all agree there is a creator who made all this universe.
Yes, but some people, even in my own religion, some people think Allah is another God, but I don't think so because I read the Quran and I see what Muslim people practice, and I just want to say we just need to push, educate, educate the public about the Quran, and we should project with kindness and
Yeah, there is as I said, in every mosque in the U.S. now, they have open houses. They invite the people from the next door church or synagogue to come, and they have some activities at interfaith centers. Like even here at the masjid at Roxbury, the mosque at Roxbury, they have a day every month. They are cooperating with the church next to them to have a Sunday that is feeding the poor, and they will be all the month they are collecting, and then on that Sunday the priest come and the person from the mosque they start to divide things and invite, and the people know when to come, and they provide food for homeless. So with a cooperation with Christians.
I have a last question. I heard, like me, I'm from Haiti. If I become a Muslim, because I am not from an Arab country, if I went to pray to the mosque or if I came among the other ladies, they won't consider me like they consider the other ladies because I'm not from an Arab country. Is that the truth?
Not at all. Not at all. For a very, the fact is that really people don't know. Not all Muslims are Arabs. The Arab Muslims are much less in number than the Muslims in Indonesia and Asia who are not Arab. It is a confusion. And not all Arabs are Muslims. There is Arabs who are Christians. So there is no connection. The Islam, the Islamic the religion is over the world, not only in the Arab countries. And I think we are all be happy when somebody come to ask us or come to attend any prayer. I love it, and my friends, I know them. They like to talk about our religion. We are proud.
I just heard.
Now you will be welcome. You will be welcome. Come in this class. It's Thursday, 7 p.m. one in the ISB, which is 204 Prospect Street in Cambridge, and there is one in Roxbury. I have the address. So after the lecture, I'll give you the two addresses. So you go to the nearest one. It's the lectures for non-Muslims.
There's a lot of nice Muslims, Suad, another Senegalese women. I meet a lot of nice.
If you study psychology, you know that the human behavior is the same everywhere, no matter what is your culture. It's a human behavior, it's natural. We all came from Adam. So the characters and the different personalities are there in every culture. So criminality is every culture, not only in Muslims.
Yes,
I just have one question. I haven't heard about it. In a lot of religions, when youth become teenagers and young adults, they leave the religion for a while. Does that happen with Muslims as well? Islam?
I didn't understand. When they reach, when they are teenagers, they do what?
They leave the religion. They become, non-religious kind of. It's just an American thing.
Well, this is, I think it's a very small percentage because the Muslim families around in everywhere here or Canada or Europe, they take a lot of interest in teaching the Islam and the rules of Islam since they are 3-year-olds. And they let them grow in the environment of Muslims. But I have to admit that maybe 1 to 2% of teenagers do leave, 1% will probably leave Islam. Especially if the parents had something happened to the parents and then they end up living with non-Muslims.
Yes.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
For everybody who don't know me, I'm Diana. I'm from Puerto Rico. And the question, it's not that they leave Islam, it's that they don't practice the religion because they feel they always gonna believe that God is one. That is Islam. Just saying that they want God is one. But when the teenagers, they
sin a little more.
yeah, they disobey, they are rebellious, but they never stop saying God is one. So
Yeah, I agree.
it's just disobedience.
Yes. Yes. Teenagers is a period of life that they do everything you don't want them to do.
Yes.
Yeah, my name's Danny Burke. I live in Malden. Thank you for coming and opening the doors. When people, we have fears, and fears can take on a life of their own. And to sit down with people to see that we are just people, and we breathe, we do the same things, but to look at differences because of appearances rather than to sit and see what we have in common rather than what we have apart and different. It's a common thing. People can do that. You can draw a conclusion without doing any investigation. And we learn from listening and from telling stories. And a story that comes to my mind listening, and we garden. You said, this is a nice day. I could be home in my garden, but I knew that this was on the calendar, and we had committed to come. We said we would come. We're here. And a couple of years ago, my wife was in the yard, and we have a little part of our garden that's kind of neglected, but it's overrun with mint. And 2 women, I believe they were from Morocco, and she overheard
Collected
them.
all the mint.
No, they didn't take it. See, you're jumping to conclusions. No. They were walking by, and my wife heard them, and they were on the corner, and they were going, the mint, the mint, the mint. And she looked, oh, the mint. And my wife offered some, and they took it home and made their tea.
It's the main ingredient in the tea, the mint.
And it's just a
No,
simple.
I'm sorry, I didn't say they will take it. I thought they will ask your wife to take some.
But it's the common things and common interests. and then you add the people, and see, you have the cup of tea.
Yeah, there is a saying which is universal. Say, don't judge the book from the cover. You really have to read inside and to know what this book is about. And I wish more and more people get interested to learn about Muslims, their personalities, their beliefs, what their goals, and we all have. We try to do the best in everything because we believe in the hell and heaven, and we try everybody as much as they can to please God so they can go to heaven. So there are more peaceful Muslims, much more than evil Muslims.
Go ahead.
Be again from the Modern Advocate. I wanted to ask the audience, does anybody have any experience of being unfair treated in Delhi because you're Muslims? And I hear that from time to time, but I want to hear from this community if there anybody experienced.
Very good question.
Hi again. When I was living in Florida, they discriminated me a lot in my work, and also when I was in my car walking down the street, they put their middle finger on me, they spit on my car, they tell me go home, and this is pretty sad. And if I'm in the airport, they stop me and they check on me and everything. It's like I volunteer to do that. That is wrong. Just because I cover, that doesn't mean that I'm going to threaten you. I was in New York once, and I went to a restaurant, and this group of this guy was eating, and they say in Spanish, "Oh, she's gonna blow up us," and I was so mad. And I went to them and I told them, "I'm sorry, I came here to eat. I'm not going to blow you guys because I'm not like that. My religion does show that." So it's not only here in Massachusetts. Everywhere you go, they are ignorant people, and it's something that we have to deal with that every single day. We can go out happily, and maybe 1 or maybe 6 months or 1 in a year, we have a bad incident or bad something not nice, So, but it's happening here, just because we dress like this.
It happened to my daughter 2 days or 3 days after 9/11. She was living in New York, and she was going shopping with a girlfriend, and they saw my daughter is not covered. She's not believing in covering, and I cannot force her. But she has a necklace that has the Quran or the ayah of the Quran written, so they know that she's Muslim, and they start to throw rocks at her.
Oh, rocks?
Rocks, yeah.
In New York City?
In New York City.
How old was she?
She's a grown-up girl. She at the time she was like 20, no, 22. So she's not like just a little girl. She's a woman. That's why I mentioned the vandalism and the hate crimes that is occurring all over the U.S.
Thanks. As a professional in your field, I don't know if this is working.
No, it's
Okay. As a professional in your field, how would you talk to children like 12 years old and about the fact that Islam is most of the time associated with terrorism? Personally, my 3 children are here today. I did not want them to be part of this. They're downstairs because my daughter my daughter never approached me about anything. She heard anything negative she ever heard about Islam, but my son did. And to be honest with you, I did not know how to explain to him. He's 8 in simple words. And I wish you could help me with this. I'd appreciate it.
Well, it is important to teach our children. First, we need to have trust between us that may help our children to trust us. Like you are a very good woman, a mother, and you are nurturing the children. And then you start to teach them about Islam and about Quran and about learning some Arabic words. But you have to be honest with them and tell them that some bad people did this, and but the Islam is not to be accused. Try to let them know you are proud of your religion, and it's a religion for peace, not for violence. And I think the kids, I didn't hear even from other Muslim families that the children really disobeyed and ran away or scared of Islam. I don't know why. I think most of our children accepted the fact that Islam is good, and just the bad treatment is because some bad people did bad things.
So there's my children attend the OCRC here
Okay.
to learn Quran and Arabic, reading and writing, which they're proud of. Hoping they would not lose interest in doing that anytime soon. But my son witnessed there was a project here in his school about 9/11, and he was supposed to be part of that project. So when he came home with it, I kind of told him, if you can stay away from this project, just because you know there are certain things in here, and B, I don't think they're going to be organized in your small brain and share this knowledge. So why don't you tell your teacher to do something else? But if she asks you why, I'm happy to go and talk to her. But to my surprise, he didn't have to say anything to the teacher. She just gave him another assignment. But that same teacher made comments about Islam while they were discussing that project on 9/11, and she said, all I care is all Muslims are terrorists. Not knowing, I don't think she knew that she had some Muslim kids in her classroom and she was offending them. But my son had a very negative impact on my son, and he lost his appetite for a few days. I was very upset. And especially upset about the fact that he would let me go talk to the teacher and tell her, you should indicate this out for the teacher if you were spreading rumors about you. And you're a teacher, you're an educator, you can't be spreading rumors.
Unfortunately, this is.
She didn't want to feel cornered after she knows that he's a Muslim. So, in my situation, I guess what I'm trying to say is, we're all proud to be Muslims, but sometimes you're put in a situation where you're not able to explain to your son why you don't want him to come forward and say, hey, I'm Muslim, why did you say that? Just because he's young,
still
and
young.
he's not going to
Still
be able to
young.
defend his point. So that's what
It's a sign of the Islamophobia, it's a manifestation.
Right.
And that's why we all have to work together to let other people, non-Muslims, know about us. Have workshops like this one, open the doors of mosques to non-Muslims, spread the word about teaching Islam so people can come and just learn what is this religion is about. And just be patient with your son, but keep in mind that he is young, and when you tell him when you grow up, you'll understand it better. But of course, for a teacher to say this is horrible. And this is exactly what's Islamophobia, that we are all terrorists. That's exactly an exact example. Yes?
Yes, ma'am. Could you comment on women's rights in Islam?
Yes. Women are very highly respected in Islam, more than what non-Muslims believe. When Islam came in the 14,000 years ago, the women were not allowed to inherit from the parents. They were not allowed to talk in the church or to speak in the church or give a question to the leader. When Islam came, he gave the rights of inheritance to women. He gave the women the right to have their own businesses, which was not allowed before in many countries. When Islam came, God said many times in the Quran, men and women are equal. Both are very important. The other freedom is that we have the right to divorce a man. Many people don't know this about Islam. If you really cannot tolerate living with a person, you have the right to divorce them. And this is very difficult in the Western world. It's called the khula. And I can say many examples about sayings of our Prophet, peace be upon him, that when one of the companions asked him, what you say about regarding your parents. So Prophet Muhammad said, your mother, your mother, your mother, your mother, and then your father. He mentioned the mother how 4 times more important than the father, because she's the one instilled the faith in the children. So it's very unknown to non-Muslims how Muslims are respecting their women. But of course, like in any culture, there are men who are abusive and they have problem with the power and wanting to be the one to be heard. You know, he is the leader and he is the one when you don't, the wife doesn't have any choice. Some Muslims have this say, some, but it's not Islam. And I'm sure in the Christianity, when the husbands mistreat or really hurt his wife physically or mentally, this is not in your religion either. So, you know, look at the human behavior is really universal.
Hi, I'm Sandy, and I would like to add the first person to ever accept Islam after the Prophet was his wife Khadijah. And one of our major scholars in Islam is a woman, Aisha. She memorized a lot of narration that the Prophet did and spoke of. And we, people that practice and learn, study them, read upon them, and she is a well-known scholar in Islam.
And women were allowed to come to the teaching in the mosque and ask the Prophet face to face any questions they have about this new religion. They were not prevented like some people think the women cannot even ask a question or they are oppressed. And no, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, our Prophet, allowed women, and they had a very strong, important role in the wars that it got fired because of the new religion. And so the nation around the people, the community were against this new religion, and they had to have some wars. And women were participating in the wars, either as treating the injured, make some meals to the fighters. They were with the men out in the battlefield.
And most importantly, we have a right not to work.
Yes, you have the right to work, but you have not to. No, but the issue, the Islamic rules about that is the woman has to satisfy the needs of her family, with the children, with the husband, and if she doesn't have time for the children, she should not work. She should be with the children. And we believe that me as a working mother, I depend on the quality time. Like I can spend less hours with my children, but they are a very worthy hours, and they are I use it all wisely. a mother can be with the child 24 hours and will not teach him a thing.
I believe that the teacher, the sister trying to say is that the woman have the right to choose whatever she wants to do. If she want to work, she work. If she wants to stay at home, she stay at home.
Exactly.
If she want to get married, she get married with the person that she choose to. Nobody else can do that, only her.
Yeah, in the Quran, they prevent the parents from pushing children to get married to certain people. The woman has to, or the girl has to choose and agree.
Also, the woman having high status actually is pretty sad, but the first person who died in Islam was, for Islam, was a woman. So it's not just men.
The first martyr.
Exactly, it was a woman. So it's a lot of the woman role is very important in Islam. It's not that we are just push or press. We do things that we want to do for the sake of God, the sake of our family.
We have a right to go to the masjid too. Like some religions prevent the women to go into a place of worship. The men can't say no.
I believe in Afghanistan and for example, the men, they force the woman to do things, but this is them. It's not Islam. You have to separate Islam from the act that those men does, because it's not right. And also we have to have a little sympathy for them, because some of them they don't have education. They don't know how to read, how to follow Islam, because they just follow through the generation to generation. They don't know. They have to Islam. You have to study Islam to be able to know the truth, to know what is Islam about. You have to study. People like those men over there, they don't even know. They don't know how to read and write. They don't even know what is going on. They just told that for man that is have bad minds and criminal, So
Ignorance. And just to add to your answer, sister, the presence of the military, the U.S. military, and of course military personnel from other parts of the world as well, not only the U.S., in the Middle East, is bringing back some of the negative examples that are hiding under the umbrella of Islam. And I think your question earlier about women's rights in Islam is a bit related to that, because military personnel who are serving in like Saudi Arabia, they come back and they say women in that part of the world do not have the right to drive. They do not have the right to go out by themselves.
The only country that doesn't allow women to drive. And this is not Islam.
Exactly. So that's exactly the point I wanted you to clarify, please, because the first thing that comes to people's mind when they talk about Islam, Saudi Arabia. That's the first country that pops up in people's heads. And women are not given their rights as they should be given under the religion of Islam.
Right.
So if you could clarify that, please, that would be wonderful. Because a lot of people, it is true that what the military people are saying.
I will answer your question, but on the other hand, there are many Americans who came from the Middle East, married to Arabic women.
Can I tell you
came
why?
Here.
Most of the time when you sit down, I'm a former federal agent, and I was directly in contact with these people, and I can tell you that for these Americans who go there to fight and come back married to Muslim women, for them, they're saving them from the quality of life and the type of life they're enduring over there. That's why
I agree. Well, I agree that Saudi Arabia is not a good example of Islamic country. The things that they are not allowing the woman to do, it's forced by very controlling, obsessive men who are not even following their own religion. And it's one of the countries that I will never go and live there because of this oppression. Other countries, you have more freedom. Like I came from Egypt, we have the freedom to drive, we have ministers who are women, we have judges who are women, and head of the ministry was a woman. And still in every community you will find some people not following the rules. Like even I am here treating more Americans than Muslims. And the problems, the family problems, and the fathers and the battered women here is very, very high percentage. I treat battered women, and I have to do family counseling, and the men sometimes are very abusive, although they are not Muslims, you know. And in Islam, it's the same thing. There are abusive men and Muslims who are following the rules.
Right, as long as the Western world understands that Saudi Arabia is not the
example
to give about Islam, because they are not doing what Islam is all about. They are wrong. Most of the things they're doing with women are deprived of their rights in that part of the world, and I do agree with that.
Which one of the countries is the role model?
You take Morocco.
We're gonna take a last question over there.
I actually don't have a question. I would just like to add again to remind all of us, and plus this is a reminder for myself first, that that there's a difference between Islam and Muslim. And the other thing is, God sees us as one creation. He doesn't see these man-made borders that we all see on the news all the time. And this is an individual test for those who listen and obey His command. And His commands are in all the books. Take the time to read and reflect, because we will answer for our actions, our own actions. And my other advice might be, is continue to study about our Creator, our Lord, what He wants us to do, so we can strive to be of the people of heaven.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for your attention. Thank you, Dr. Nahid Akholi. We all know that Islam, the way it is portrayed as anti-woman, based on what Dr. Nahid Akholi just explained to us, is totally different. The problem is, what can we do as a civil society, as a leaders, as religious leaders, to provide to the non-Muslim a better knowledge about Islam, because it is our duty and it is our responsibility. It's not just about coming to United States and work and collect money or pay the bills. It is also have to represent you are a ambassador to your religion and to your nation. So we all have to benefit from the freedom we have in this country, this beautiful country, where the freedom of speech is protected, and it's protected by the Constitution. Not only protected by people or by the mayor or by the government, it's protected by the Constitution. We have to take benefits from that and try to live together as brothers and sisters. Thank you so much for your attention. We hope that everyone benefit from what Dr. Nahid Akholi just said to us. Hopefully we can do more workshops and more talk, more discussion. This way can make our community a better community in this state of Massachusetts. Thank you very much. You can go ahead and help yourself by some coffee and some cookies. Thank you very much.
Before we leave, I just want to add that in Cambridge this Monday, for everybody, all the sisters welcome, and everybody who is not Muslim have to be a woman. I'm sorry for the brothers. It's going to be a potluck this Monday from 6:30 to 8 o'clock. So you are all welcome. All the ladies are welcome to come. ISD in Cambridge.